adoption of your product?
Today, internet and mobile probably is the best university that I've ever had. You can communicate with all of the world. So I think the ideas you've got are fantastic. The only thing is that as an entrepreneur, that never build up a good team and set the big vision, but milestones and go on, never give up. You might have a lot of problems, right? But you can see the problem you're facing, your competitor will face it too.
Yeah.
And you think you have a lot of tough days, but your competitor may have a much easier. You never know, right? So you say that the competition within you is not is the speed of solving the problems.
For us, our story is very similar, like everybody else. We found a space on the other side. We found that entrepreneurs were working in isolation. Everybody was working from their home or from a coffee shop. And we needed to bring them together because of my business experience. I, like Cargo, dropped out of university second year. Long story, we couldn't afford it because I needed to pay for my siblings' school fees. And I had done a lot of manual labor before that. So I started my first company, I failed. Started my second one, I failed. And then my third company started working, which was buying domain names from Bulgaria, buying them at about $35 and selling them at $150 in Kenya. The reason there was a business opportunity was because people didn't have credit cards, and this was the only company that accepted Western Union. So I'd ask, you want a domain name? I'll sell you a domain name. I'll come and I'll get the domain name for $35, sell it $150 and support it for a year. And then I was lucky enough to meet Anna, who is right over here. And she invested 50,000 euros for an incubation hub. Yes, so that was the beginning. Yeah. So Anna invested 50,000 euros for an incubation hub, and we agreed that we'll bring all the young entrepreneurs we can, so we share a lot of knowledge and skills and art. Dr. Mukisa Kitui, these are the young entrepreneurs.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, last year, September, with the support and assistance of some of the most powerful people in the world, I managed to get Jack Ma to be a special envoy of UNCTAD for youth and small business. In that act, he becomes the most expensive employee I have ever had, with the status of an Assistant Secretary General of the United Nations. One of the main things that made me look for Jack, and I shared with him over 2 years of things at Davos, at the World Economic Forum, is partly the story he has to tell. The tenacity of saying falling is ordinary, rising after a fall is what takes genius, is what takes guts. And that in the reality of the marketplace, most small businesses have high mortality rates. Very many businesses fail, but how would you keep trying again after it has failed? That narrative, I thought, needed to be told to the world. But there was a second thing. Some of you have just listened to me in the other room mention. By the end of 2015, global electronic commerce reached 25 trillion US dollars. That's roughly close to the combined wealth of the top 100 enterprises in the world. As I bring Jack Ma on his first ever trip to Africa, actually originally we were supposed to have the entire trip in Nairobi, but because of Kenya's ability to suspend economics when it's going to an election, I said, okay, we will have this trip to Rwanda, but on our way there we must stop in Kenya. And I'm glad that we created this possibility. And our stop to Kenya for me was first and foremost to give Jack a chance to talk to this audience, and to give this audience a chance to interrogate Jack.
First, let's tell us your story. Just the first 3 years. We've watched the YouTube videos. We love them. We're inspired by them. Just the first 3 years. How did you do this? How did you do this? We want to hear it firsthand, don't we? Yeah. Yes, I think that's a very good place to start.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much. This is my first morning in Africa, and I'm expecting this day for a long, long time. Well, this is the best gift I've ever got from Dr.